side to that field. Pick a flower for your loved ones. Let the petals stay at the wheel. Riding on a road with rolling hills. Let's take a ride and roll the windows down. Wasting time as we go town to town. Landscapes change and the music fades. In the end there ain't a sound. Let's take a ride and roll the windows down. The city brings you closer to yourself. You get to know the man you are when all is well. Along the way you meet yourself as if you came from hell. The city brings you closer to yourself. In the silence there's a lesson to be learned. A question with no answer to be heard. Your mind won't let you rest your eyes, and you know one day you'll say goodbye to the question with no answer to be heard. Riding on a road with rolling hills. Blow to the side to that field. Pick a flower for your loved ones. Let the petals stay at the wheel. Riding on a road with rolling hills. Riding on a road with rolling. I woke up in the world I wanted. Sunrise dancing with the morning. In your eyes, I swear I saw it. I woke up in the world I wanted. I woke up in the world you gave me. New horizon in the making. Wish I could bottle love and save this moment. I woke up in the world I wanted. It used to be a dream, but now it's you and me. It used to be a dream, but now it's you and me. I woke up in the world I wanted, better than I ever saw it. All the dreams of life, the hope you brought in. I woke up in the world I wanted. Used to be a dream, now it's you and me. Used to be a dream, now it's you and me. I woke up in the world I wanted, and I realized all of a sudden this used to be a dream. Now it's you and me. It used to be a dream, now it's you and me.
time just as it was. For every moment on never mean anything as much. Is this the day that I go back and think of? I keep remembering it, and when you say it, I know I don't mean what. I keep remembering it. Why do we mean it only when it's taken?
てかこの紙カップが可愛い。チキンね多分失敗した。卵サンドはパンにバターをしっかり入れると美味しい。どうやればいいのか。
まあやばい、白身踏んづけてちょっと会った人が好きなんだろう。じゃあ来い。うわどうしよう。リトルミー行っていいですか？
どうぞ。
かわいい。
食べられた。チビムーミン食べられた。